So with so many streaming devices, especially in that budget category, sometimes it's hard to know what's good and what isn't. So this video, what I want to do is list my top 6 budget streaming sticks for 2023. These are going to be under that $50 price range. So watch the video till the end. Let me know what I got right, what I didn't, and let me know what your top 6 or top 5 devices are. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, smash the notification bell. Let's go. Number 6 is going to be the Roku Stick or the Roku Express. Now Roku, if you guys don't know, is the most popular streaming device in the US. If you look at the sales, and not only the individual device, but when they're integrated into a TV, they're the most used in the US, so keep that in mind. Now I believe that Roku doesn't get its fair share because they don't have a way for you to sideload applications. But if you're able to look beyond that and just go with the apps that's available, it is actually a real nice device. So first thing to point out is that Roku is usually very cheap. Range in price from $27 all the way to about $60 or $50 depending where you're picking up. The device that we're looking at is the Roku Stick. However, if you were to upgrade to the 4K or the Roku Stick Plus, you do get a nice remote, guys, which allows you to plug your headphones directly into your remote. Now this might be kind of gimmicky because you should be able to just connect via Bluetooth if you want to go that route, but if you just want to quickly connect, that option is there for you. Now Roku is one of the best when it comes to free content. A lot of live channels on their device, including the Roku channels, which gives you a ton of free content. Now the stick is really small and it really performs well. This is one that I'll be using in my garage for over a year now. Now as far as the remote, like I said, Roku shines when it comes to what their remote feels like. So volume up and down on the side. You do have a power up top, back, home. You have the navigation. You also have a built-in microphone, and then you have your dedicated buttons. So you have Netflix, you have DirecTV Now or AT&T TV Now as they switched over, Fandango as well as Fandango. So depending when you purchase it, you might have different buttons. So if you were to upgrade from the base device, you will get a remote with a headphone jack, which allows you to just plug in and listen to your content privately. Like I said, Roku is a great streaming device. Reason I believe it gets a bad rap, especially in the streaming community, is because you cannot sideload your applications on this device. But if you're able to look beyond that, this is a magnificent device. So number 5 is going to be the Bus TV Vidstick. This is the ST4000. Now this is a nice looking device, starting out around $50. This is a 4K streaming device. As far as some of the other specs, it does have an Amlogic S905Y2 processor. This maxes out at 2 GHz. It is running Android 9, 2 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of internal storage. And very cool on this device that not only does it have the DC plug-in, which is micro USB, but you also have a SD card slot and you have a standard USB port on the back. So the interface is not going to be too flashy. It is going to be pretty standard, but if you use a launcher, you can go ahead and change it. As far as the remote is a full-size remote. So depending which side of the aisle you're on, you might love it or you might hate it. So just looking at the remote, it has every button, guys. It has the inputs, has the home, has a fast forward rewind, has a dedicated guide button as well, and this can be programmed to control your TV or other media devices. Now my personal opinion is that this remote was really overkill. There's too much going on, and I'd rather them slim it down a little bit and just put the basic buttons. However, this stick being essentially dedicated to your IPTV, I can see why they went with the full remote. Now number 4 is going to be the TIVO Stream 4K. As far as the specs, we're looking at an Amlogic S905Y2 processor. Now this maxes out at 1.8 GHz. We have 2 gigs of RAM and 8 gigs of internal storage. Now I should mention that this is running Android TV 9, so that's definitely a big plus, and we'll get into the user interface here in a little bit. Now as far as the device itself, looks like an old PlayStation. Everyone was talking about it when it first launched, but it is a true dongle, guys. You can see it does have a flexible HDMI cable here at the top. Ports on the device, you have 2 options. You have a micro USB and you do have a USB-C. Now this opens it up for you to do a lot of different things. So power is with the micro USB, and then with the USB-C you can add additional storage, you can add a network card, you can add a keyboard, you can do a lot of different things. And I like that TiVo took some time to add an additional port. Now the remote itself, I actually did not mind it. Now if you look at the remote, it has some of the buttons that you might need for your IPTV or for your streaming applications, but it also has those basic buttons and it didn't overdo it, which I love. Now you have your volume up and down, your power, your input. So this does have CEC control, can power your TV on and off, turn the volume up and down, and also has a dedicated Netflix button and the Google Assistant in the middle. Now, one cool thing about this that TIVO introduced is the TIVO application, and this can be launched a couple different ways, either by pressing the TIVO button, or if you go into the user interface and you can go ahead and launch it up top, which is normally pinned. The TIVO app is awesome as well. So within this app, you do have a ton of free content, and it also integrates those streaming apps that you might already have subscription to. So you have a Sling account, if you have a Hulu account, you can sign into those applications and those will be integrated into the app. So the selling point on the TIVO is that it has the content all in one place, and that way if you search for something, it will search across all of your streaming subscriptions and it can get you the correct content. So next is going to be the On 4K streamer, and if you guys remember, this came on the scene kind of under the radar, but then a lot of people started liking it and it started to pick up steam. As far as the specifications, Android 10 quad-core processor, model G31, 2 gigs of RAM, 5 gigs of storage, and it does support multiple Wi-Fi networks. So this was a Walmart box. It came with stock Android TV, and that was really a selling point. But also what made this stand out is that the price was even lower than an Amazon Fire TV stick. So a lot of people went out to Walmart, they started to pick these up, and before we knew it, these devices were essentially sold out. So about the device, this can do anything that a Fire TV stick can do. Essentially, you can sideload the applications, you can add storage, you can also stream your favorite movies in 4K UHD. Also the remote, I actually love the remote on this one. Had the Google Assistant, it had some dedicated button, but just a well-built remote, and it had everything that you really needed to move forward and make this a daily driver. So the reason why this is up there is because it does everything that the Fire TV stick will do, does run Android TV, Google Assistant, great remote, and it's priced well below a lot of the other devices in this list. So number 2 is going to be your Chromecast with Google TV. Not only does it look good, feels good, and the performance is up to par. As far as the specifications, we're looking at 2 gigs of RAM, 4 gigs of internal storage. It is running Android TV 10, but it is a modified version of Google TV, and it does have 4K HDR capabilities. Let's first take a look at the device itself. Now, this is a true dongle, guys. What I mean by this is that it is lightweight, the HDMI plug is flexible, and I don't see this being a strain on the HDMI ports on your television. Now, besides that, out of the 5 devices I just went over, this is the best build. Quality feels good, it's solid, and you can tell that Google really put a lot of thought into making this device. Now, on the device itself, it does have a USB-C plug, and this is going to provide you power. However, you can use a USB-C OTG adapter to add your storage, add your keyboard and mouse, add your Ethernet adapter, and do whatever you want with those USB ports. And with the release of this, it still has those Chromecast features. So yes, you can cast your content to your television. And also I should mention that this comes in 3 colors. It comes in white, comes in blue, comes in pink, and the 3 colors comes with a matching remote. Now, speaking of the remote is also very well done. It is a smaller remote, matches the size of the device. Now, even though this is not as customizable as you have with the traditional Android TV, the interface feels smooth, it was super snappy, easy to get to your content, and no issues getting your applications or sideloading your applications onto this device. Now, number 1 for 2023 so far is going to be the Fire TV Stick 4K Max. Now, I did a video, the same video last year, and my number 1 for that year was the Chromecast with Google TV. But what made me change my mind is really that Amazon have been constantly pushing updated devices, pushing updates to their devices, and Google, their Chromecast is due for an upgrade. They did release an HD version of the Chromecast, but now we need another 4K version of the Chromecast in 2023. So as far as the specs of the new Fire TV Stick 4K Max, you're going to get 8 gigs of storage, 2 gigs of RAM. You have a 1.8 CPU. GPU is going to be 750 megahertz. Live free applications with all the normal stuff, the Sling TVs, YouTube TVs, and others. A lot of free content on there as well. Dolby Vision, HDR, HDR10, Dolby Atmos audio as well. And of course, this supports the next gen Wi-Fi, which is Wi-Fi 6. Now, during my review, I did do a full speed test on that, and it does make a difference. Apart from that, Firestick is going to give you everything you need. You are going to be able to sideload the applications. You are going to be able to stream your favorite applications. And the cool thing about Firestick is that you can always take it on the go with you and easy to set up. So that was my top 6 streaming sticks for 2023 so far. I'll link all of them in the description if you want to go ahead and pick any of them up. If you have any thoughts on this list, drop it in the comments. Let me know which one you agree with, which one you don't. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, smash the notification bell, Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.